Welcome back to Be Rich. My nephew and Sashpat Swaminathan is with me, and we are here to discuss about an article I read. In fact, two articles I read, and which I asked him to research. I'm sure he has researched one, which is on the Russian population, and the Russian population is in danger of declining. There are several problems there. A lot of people have left Russia and run away. Those who didn't want to be conscripted for the war. A lot of people have died in the war, and the birth rate in Russia is nearly 20 years lower than what it is today. And except for a brief period in early 2000, ever since the collapse of Soviet Union, Russian population has been declining. And what I read in that article said Russia's population is going to be so bad that from if this trend continues, from the sixth most populous world place in the world in 1992-93, it's going to drop to the 15th place. That means nine countries have come and gone ahead of Russia. And so Russia has a problem where a lot of its youth are dying in the battlefield. The rich and the wealthy have migrated out. So it's hollow in the middle. And even people up to the age of 40, I think, are being conscripted. And the war with Ukraine is never ending. It's reached the what Ulysses Grant, the great American general and president, said is a meat grinder stage where people are just Ukraine and Russia are grinding each other. And if Russia goes on the offensive, it's going to lose a lot more people. The Victory Day parade that took place yesterday or day before was very muted, and this war has lasted 18 months. Putin thought he will roll over Ukraine in 10 days. This is one. The second article, which was very interesting to me, which I didn't alert Shashwat, is regarding Bangalore and Karnataka. I read an article which says that the in Bangalore, compared with the voter list, the population of people between 20 and 29, that particular 10 year, has taken a big dip in Bangalore among in the voting percentage. That is the number of people in the age group 20 to 29 who are voting this time compared to 5 years has declined. This is big surprise for me because Bangalore is a net inward migration. A lot of people migrate into Bangalore. It's not Bangalore is suffering, that people are leaving Bangalore city, the software capital of India and the world. So a lot of Tamils, a lot of Telugu people, a lot of North Indians are migrating into Bangalore. And in spite of that, the population in that particular decimal has declined. So I thought we will discuss the Russian first and then shoot breeze on the second point. Shashwat, over to you.
Yeah, with the article which you talked about basically had a few key points. The first big hit to the population comes from the war, where most young healthy males are recruited, and if they aren't recruited, they either leave the country or this thing. Yeah, so basically the idea is that you are pretty much sending off all your healthy men, the working class. You're sending them off to fight a war which you can't really fund. You're not able to fund it as and you don't, even if you're able to fund it, you don't have the manpower to do it. So your population is anyway declining even before the war. If you look, the data says that from 1995, when its population hit its peak, they started declining after the fall of the USSR, and even after that in 2008 and from 2001 or two, whenever the child rearing whatever benefits were given. Since then, the population started. There was an uptick, but then Putin said, we've successfully eradicated the threat of population decline. But even that minor uptick was came back down after the annexation of Crimea. In the annexation of Crimea, what ended up happening was Putin basically said those 2.4 million people in Crimea are now part of Russia's population. So there's another uptick. But after which, after the authoritarian turn in Putin's regime, basically your population has been declining since then, and your fertility rate has crashed. And this is not the case just with Russia, but with the rest of the world. But Russia is suffering from it even worse than all the other countries in the world. And another problem Russia is facing currently is a brain drain. Their educated class are fleeing because they don't want to be a part of the war. They don't want to be conscripted. Their immediate neighbors, ex-USSR countries, Georgia and adjacent countries where you can sort of travel without a visa, are now seeing an influx of people. I think just after the war started, about 300,000 people migrated to visa-free countries who are neighboring Russia. So the Russia's demographic problem, stretches far and beyond. And Russia's they've been dealing with their demographic problem for over 30 years now. And there's been an economic economist piece from 2008 also detailing the problem of falling Russian population. And a lot of the Russian cities are pretty much derelict in the sense that where people were once, there are no more people, and the people are aggregating into cities. And the brain drain is proving to be a huge problem in Russia, because how Japan and all these other countries with aging populations end up dealing with aging populations is a high education rate. But Russia does have a high literacy rate, but the problem with Russia's literacy rate is that people are leaving. The intellectual elite don't want to stay here because they don't ideologically agree with Putin. And anyone who doesn't ideologically agree with Putin are pretty much, either they get chained or they get thrown in jail, or they're put under political pressure. So these people are also leaving, and you see a mass exodus, which is Russia's biggest problem as of late.
Now, the other big problem in Russia is the economy. See,
Mhm.
you have to understand today's world, a child is a liability, is not an asset.
Yeah,
So it's not very simple. That is, I produce a child. I'm responsible to send it from preschool to university.
yeah,
And with the rising cost of services inflation, schools and colleges are not cheap. And these kind of kids don't go through the government system of schools. I'm sure not even in Russia or India for that matter,
yeah,
because we look down on the government system
yeah,
and the quality is very bad. So the cost of rearing a child is extremely high in India. Before 1950s, 1970s, every child was considered an asset. Basically, you could send them to a mechanic shop, put them to work and get some money out of it. Now India has passed stringent laws which makes people working below 17 or 18. I think it's 15. Below 15, nobody can work. All this has meant that children have become a liability rather than an asset. And only those who can give care and love want to get children. And that is why you see there is a rising adoption also, that the unwanted children are being adopted also. So definitely it's a function of the economy. The Russian economy has done nowhere. It's basically a commodity driven economy. And there has been contest, if there has been a default, a Russian default, then there has been a commodity boom and then drop. So basically, Russia has no, there are a lot of Russian Jews who have done very well in startups. WhatsApp is a Russian startup, but they don't do it in Russia anymore.
yeah,
So Russia is basically a economy which exports commodities. This ban, the world tracks only crude, but even diamonds and gold, Russia is unable to export. And if it tries to export to countries like India, like I explained, what is happening is the Indians have bought a lot of oil, but now want to pay through the rupee.
yeah,
So the Russians have accumulated a lot of rupees, but they don't know what to buy for it because
yeah,
India is running a huge trade deficit.
yes,
Overall, the Russian economy is in serious trouble. And unless the Russian economy is fixed, you are not going to get an uptick in population. Even in India, in any country, as the people move up the ladder, they produce lesser and lesser children. This was very evident to me when I looked at the voter list for 2019 when working for my party. What this article, which came in the Indian press, clearly shows that not only is it in south of India, that is Tamil Nadu and Kerala, even in Karnataka, there is a big drop in population, young population. That means population planning has really worked in Karnataka also, especially in the urban areas. Because not only is people born are less, but you have a continuous stream of migration from other Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Andhra into Bangalore to benefit from the IT boom. So India's popular, like I always said, India has a double hip kernel. That is the fertility rate in South India is extremely low. The fertility rate in North India is high. There is a transfer of resources from north to south. That is what I wanted to say.
Yeah. And another important thing with India's demographic divide is that capital stock, that's something which Wealth of Nations talks about, and which I've asked you a few times at least, which is that if you do look at interest rates in India, if you look at it state wise, states with a declining population tend to also have lower interest rates.
Yes,
So, what is the reason for that?
because there are more savers than
Spenders.
borrowers.
Yeah.
Because you have people more older who
Yeah.
want to save the money.
Then
So who
consumer.
want a better, yeah. So there is more savings than lending.
Right.
And that is why you will find states where populations decline, the return on business will be lower.
Okay. And and I mean that's the case with Japan at least, but Japan is a slightly different case because of the liquidity trap.
Japan is in a serious liquidity trap,
Yeah.
and maybe it's finally getting out of it because there is an inflation uptick in Japan right now.
But
So,
yeah.
so Japan is the first country, if it does not allow large scale migration in, that is going to vanish.
Yeah. The
So this is and with Germany, Europe, England, everything declining. The
even
European
China's
continent,
population, even China's
even
population.
China is declining. So you're
Yeah.
going to see a large influx from Africa and South Asia
Yeah.
into continental Europe, and if required, if required, Japan.
You're having a paradigm shift pretty much.
You are having a paradigm shift. And unless you have an open border, this will not work. This is why I say you should avoid the China Russia axis.
Avoid the China Russia axis in the sense.
That is, the world is going to be in two camps.
Yeah.
There's a Russian Chinese camp on one side, and
Yeah.
there's the Western democracies on the other side.
Right.
So we have to choose which side we want to be. It is better to be in the side of the Western democracies.
But we're currently importing oil from Russia and refining it and selling it abroad. So we're
Yes,
leaning towards the Russo camp than we are towards the
exactly. We are trying to ride to both stools
yeah.
at the same time, but it will not work. And at some stage, we'll have to take a call. I
Okay.
hope it's the right call. Thank you for watching Be Rich. If you like this content, hit the like button of our video, turn on the bell notification, and if you do not turn on the bell notification, you will not be notified every time we put out a video. Once again, I thank you for your support for Be Rich. We had a meeting in Singapore. I was very pleased with the results. Indians received me with great love and affection, and I enjoyed my time in Singapore. The meeting was a big success, and I could meet a people from various walks of life. I miss going to Kuala Lumpur, which is very close to Singapore, just 4 hours drive, and I have been asked to come there. So my team decided on the 11th of June, Sunday, we would do an event in Kuala Lumpur. If you would like to meet me in Kuala Lumpur, kindly send a message at the WhatsApp number given below and or drop a mail to the mail ID given below. My team would contact you at earliest. Once again, I thank you for your support for Be Rich. It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.